real quick, I want to say before we get into the strike Obama thing, I really want to talk about that. One of the things too you learn playing sports is you got to take shit. Like and I can only imagine what it's like on the professional level. But I remember, I mean, just in high school being booed on the road. I remember we lost, and my geography teacher on Monday was like, "Hey, Elwood, what happened? What happened Saturday? I was captain of the team. Why'd you guys?" He's calling me out in front of the whole class, and I was 17. He's like, "What the hell happened?" And so you got to hear that. But anyway, all right.
No, that actually, it's funny you bring that up, because I feel like when the whole AOC and like force the vote and all that stuff was going on, I'm like, wait, why is it okay for us as athletes? We're just people too. We're entertainers. It's a job. Why is it that we get to get cussed at, yelled at, death threats, all type of shit? Like, I'm talking all type of stuff, but it's okay when it comes to us. But, if you're an actual politician who actually has power to change lives, I don't have the power in my hands to do that, at a moment's notice, or with, canceling student debt with a pen like Joe Biden can do. I don't have the power to do any of that. But when it's talking to them and people are getting angry because people are dying, then it's violence, or it's, you're out of line, or you shouldn't, it's just crazy though. Like the arbitrary standards we set in this country.
Let's talk about that force the vote thing. Let's really I'm so glad you brought that up, because I watched this force the vote thing happen. Jimmy had a great idea, and I've known Jimmy for years. We started doing stand up in Chicago years ago. And his first video he said, I'll forgive you if you said bad stuff about me in the past, and you forgive me. Let's just get this done. And then that
was powerful in the moment too, because at that point, Jank was on board, Sam Cedar was on board. I was like, wow, like this is gonna happen, which is really why I jumped. I lend my voice to it, because I was like, this is a real opportunity. We haven't done shit since Bernie lost. Like, we can actually come together. They're finally they have some institutional power. They have a coalition. We can start getting some real advances here, right? And that's why, I was so enthused by it as well. I'm sure, like you and like so many other people. And then obviously, what happened from there?
And that was the thing that was so nuts. And then when she said, and then I don't know who was, Anna Kasparian or some other person like that was like, Jimmy said, when Jimmy said, fuck AOC, that's an act of violence. I went, because you were in this and I played sports too. I was like, are you kidding me? You're in Congress. Like, I've heard the home team. I grew up a Cub fan in the 80s before they were good. It was just like, boo. I played Lee Elia's speech from 1984 when he goes, it was back when there was no lights at Wrigley. And he's like, 85% of the people are working. The other 15% come down here and boo my team. It's a playground for the cocksuckers. This is how he spoke. He was booed. Yep. I can only imagine. And I relate, I'm like, if I got yelled at as a high school football player, I can't imagine. And I've been a sports fan my whole life. So I've seen home teams boo, show up with signs, fire this bum, sports radio lights up, get rid of this guy. He's just the worst. And then, hey, don't be mean to AOC. Because let me tell you something, an NFL coach can't give me health care. AOC could. She has 12 million Twitter followers. And the fact that and people are like, don't be mean, or she's our ally. Well, look, man, I didn't vote for her. I'm not in her district, but I donated to her. I used my platform. I don't have a big platform to help. Jimmy really helped get her elected. We all pushed her. You can go back through my catalog. I have dozens of videos where I'm like, she's awesome. She's the future. She's the one,
everyone, we were all saying it,
And then it's too mean. It's too mean. Like, this is where I'm like, this is where I love sports, because it's like, get the fuck off the field. Like,
if you can't handle it, get out. Like, it's your job.
Yeah. On the let's talk about that on the NFL level. Tell us about the pressure on the NFL level. If you screw up, what happens?
Oh man, it's massive. Like, I've seen people. My rookie year, this is what I knew was real. My rookie year, we had already gone through, training camp, which is really when like 30, 40 guys just like, nope, you're not good enough. See ya.
And it's not
that's
like
what it is.
It's no like, hey, sorry. It's like,
sorry to hurt your feelings. It's like, yo, thank you, appreciate it. Turn your iPad in. You're gone. Like that's what it is. But my rookie year, this guy, he was one of our return men, like on special teams, and he literally did something like the coach was already kind of pissed at him a little bit, just because he couldn't know the playbook or whatever, something like that. But he just one day had a bad practice. The next day, and this is another thing. When you're in those meetings and you fuck up, they're calling you out in front of everybody. So what are you doing? They highlight you, rewind it, fast forward a million times. Like, so, it's about performance. And he didn't perform. And I kid you not, the next day, this was after a practice, like not even during a game, after a practice, he was gone. He was gone. I mean, that's what it is. Like, and it's weird that we're okay with that. We're okay with having performance-based results for athletes. And we understand outcomes as a product of that. But when it comes to politicians, they can be there for 30 fucking years, never get anything done, and then still have people defend them just because there's someone ostensibly worse on the other side. But when these people are in power, they didn't help you either. The people that you're defending. So when is it going to be? And this is where it is for me with, people can debate, their intentions all they want as far as the squad and progressives. To me, that is almost moot because at the end, it's about results, right? So in 2-3 months or in 2-3 years, are people going to have an increased wage or not? Yes or no? Now, whether you want to say it's Nancy Pelosi's fault or this person's fault or that person's fault, or whether they felt good about it, they wanted it so bad. Well, people aren't going to have it, period. And so are you, and the thing about that is there's something you could have done. You could have said no to the bill if it didn't have it in it. You could have done that. That was an option. That was a choice. You didn't choose that option. So I don't really care what your intentions are. The results are that we're not getting a $15 minimum wage. We didn't get an expanse in Medicare. Instead, they are going to fund COBRA, which is twice as expensive. There's corporate loopholes for that PPP money where corporate lobbying groups can get some of that. I mean, and then you're selling me this bill like it's the Bernie is the biggest piece of progressive legislation. And what? Like, where? Show me where. You're an essential worker. You worked the whole pandemic. You didn't get unemployment. You were working for less than $15 an hour. You were working. And you get $1,400. You don't have any kids. So I don't want to hear about the child tax credit. I don't have kids. I'm an essential worker. I get $1,400 and that's it? And you're telling me I got rescued? And it's just, it's crazy. And I'm like, you're selling this as, okay, you help this group of people and this group of people all marginally, no universal programs. And then you're going to sell it as if you helped everyone. Well, when you means test like that, you leave a bunch of fucking people out. And then you expect that you're like marking those people down as, oh, I did good for them. They're going to vote for me in 2022. Well, in their book, they're still in debt. You're screaming on the news that this is something great, but their life isn't great. And it hasn't really been improved that much with this bill. And that's where they fall short, where they're like, oh, we just didn't understand that all these people, we don't understand how Trump won. These people didn't come vote for us. What do you mean? We helped them so much.
It's maddening. And on that same newscast where the person who isn't getting the child tax credit because they don't have kids. And by the way, even if you do have a kid, it's only 1 year. You're not, right. It's not like this isn't, we'll see if they make it permanent or not, but more than likely they won't. So, and again, yeah, they give money for COVID. So it's all these awful things. And Joe Biden could give Medicare for all with the swipe of a pen. And to hear liberals defend, no, well, shut up. Like, I don't, like, again, going back to the sports analogy, I had a guy wide open in the end zone, but it just didn't seem like the right time. So I threw it out of bounds. And people defend that shit. Everyone would show that clip and go, wide open. Are you an idiot? You're the dumbest quarterback we've ever seen. But thank you. Pack your shit. It would be pack it. Get
and
out.
Then That's what they're doing too. It's not even, this is the funny part. They're not even throwing it and trying to, like, even if it's a bad throw, you're out, right? Like, they're not even throwing it. They're just like taking the sack or throwing it out of bounds or running when there's someone wide open 50 yards down the field. They won't even try. They won't even throw it and see what happens. Like, that's how it feels. They won't try anything. They're just going to go along with every single bill. They're going to put this bill in your face, say, oh, there's all these people struggling. You don't want to help them. They're going to do that every single bill. They did it with the CARES Act. They did it with the second stimulus bill that was passed. They did it with this bill. What on earth is telling you that they're not going to do that with the infrastructure reconciliation bill coming up?
Oh, God. It'll be
the same thing.
It's maddening. And then again, no one look, and the Democrats will and the liberals, like, they can't grasp the fact. They're like, well, we just got rid of Trump. Whoosh. And I'm like, Trump was dumb. And if he was smart, if he was literally like had a dictator's conniving brain,
for real,
he would have not left office and we would be in a full-on civil war and there'd be tanks in the street. Because I read history books, which most Americans, I don't know why they can't get them or they don't think it applies to America or
we can't conceive that could possibly, like, that's an actual possibility that could happen here. We can't conceive that.
It's nuts. But Americans are living in denial. Like, January 6th happened. Like, last summer happened. The cops are still shooting people. That's still happening. People are dying. People are living in tent cities. Like, and the tent cities are getting bigger. And okay. So the stimulus plan, you get $1,400, you get your unemployment extended. Okay. We just printed $1.9 trillion. So we're going to ramp into hyperinflation. I mean, there's no economy. There's no country that has done this, printing this much money, that didn't eventually have a financial collapse.
Yeah. It's
not. and that's going to happen. When's that going to happen? Right around 2022, right around the midterms. Yep. Then what? And then the other thing they can't grasp is, imagine a charismatic Mike Pence. He's an ideologue. He has that evangelical thing that's a little crazy. And imagine, like,
massively insane.
That's who the Republicans are going to bring for 24.
Yeah.
Trump was just a circus act, and he didn't even want to win, and he did win. And the reason he won, and this is the thing the Democrats still refuse to acknowledge, there's a bunch of disenfranchised working class people, mainly white people, who are like, we've been screwed over. The hell with this. We're voting for this guy. Now you can say he ran on a populist platform. Everyone wants to forget that. Yes, it was xenophobic. There was racism in there. Absolutely. But he still ran populist. He did speeches in front of closed factories and said, I'm going to open this factory back up. Now you can say it's bullshit, he didn't do it, whatever, but that's what he ran on, while Hillary was doing $10,000 a plate dinners. And they still don't want to get it. So
they never came to a reckoning on that,
No.
It was Russia, it was Comey, it was, everything else, literally anything else but the platform that they ran on. And, I think about that because I talked to my teammates before the election in November. We were all just like in the hot tub after practice or something. And I genuinely wanted to know, like, what's everyone feeling? Like, what are people kind of planning on doing? Just probing them. And I basically came to a point where a lot of them were admitting that they were just like, a lot of them, their only singular motivation was the fact that Trump was there. And that for some of them, that wasn't even enough. They were like, they acknowledged it, but they were like, yeah, I still might just not vote. And then, there was a few that said they'd vote for Biden, but there was some that were just like, I'm just going to, I'm not going to vote. And one of them was like, just as a fuck you to the Dems, I might vote for Trump type thing. I don't think he actually did, but just like, that's the sentiment that people feel. And I remember, after the 2016 election, I think the New York Times did that report with those black business owners or in the barbershop or whatever.
Yeah.
And black barbers. And they were like, yeah, just, I didn't go out and vote. Like, we vote. Like, they are forgetting that people have done this before, right? Especially black and brown people. We've done this before. We've played this game. People are tired of this shit. And they're tired of having to be like, I'm voting for another marginalized community, or I'm voting for someone else. Like, what are you going to offer to me in my life so I can vote because I want my life to get better. You can't always rely on people just to come out and vote out of sympathy. Like, I'm sure a lot of people feel that way, especially like from a more liberal ideology. But man, sometimes you just have stuff in your life that supersedes that. Like, you got 2 jobs, or you can't wait in a 5-6 hour line on election day. Like, all these type of things. And this is why they'll continue to lose, because you make these sweeping promises and then you fail to deliver time after time, and people are tired of this shit. They're just tired.
Yeah. And especially with the, with the bend down the road, we got excited for this candidate or that candidate and nothing changed. We got really fired up, like for Obama or Clinton or whomever, and nothing really changed. And then all we hear is it's the other party's fault. And it's like,
right.
I can't. It's honestly, back to the sports analogy. It'd be like, why do you guys keep losing? Well, the refs and the other team and the fans were mean. It's like, no, play ball. Like, you guys must be dogging it in practice. What the coaches are idiots. Like, what is the problem? Like, why can these other teams win? Why do they keep winning?
Yeah. Like, I mean, and people get 1-2 years and they're gone, like, sometimes it's just how it is. It's cutthroat. I wish, politics was more like that, because if you're not getting it done, get the fuck out. Like, what are you doing there? You're just literally stealing our money. You're stealing our money to also fund your healthcare facility, right? That they just doubled the budget for that. That was, before the Democrats were in, I think. Like, y'all are getting everything that we want just to not do shit for us. Like, get out.
Get out. You're bad. For watching, everybody. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button. Go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood and rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, where you can support the show. Also, I have a Bitcoin wallet, a Bitcoin Cash wallet, and an Ethereum wallet in the show notes. We're taking cryptocurrency. I have a Coinbase affiliation link. We're going to be getting on some other exchanges. So that's how you support the show. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. YouTube is unsubscribing us at an alarming rate. I have a PayPal button at GrahamElwood.com. I even have a Venmo at Graham-Elwood. There's a lot of ways to support our show. We are getting crushed by YouTube. We've dipped under 73,000 subscribers because of YouTube. Thanks for supporting what we do.